What is up, guys? It's Paul, aka 90s Handheld Gamer here, and over the past few years, some of my favorite gaming experiences have been in the genre of JRPGs. But unfortunately, a lot of these JRPGs take a really long time to beat, so it's hard for me to consistently talk about them on the channel. But to kill two birds with one stone, I figured a good idea would be to make a top 15 list of the JRPGs that I want to prioritize playing and show you guys what those games are. So let's get right into it. And the first number one game on my list is Chrono Trigger. Now, I bought this Japanese version off eBay, and to me, the artwork, the case kind of looks a little fishy compared to the North American cases of DS games that I have. I checked the cartridge and it does work, but hopefully it's fully functional and I can fully play through the game, because I have heard that Chrono Trigger is one of the greatest turn-based JRPGs of all time. I've also heard that it's pretty short. I think between like 10 to 15 hours, probably even shorter than that. So for me, that's definitely a plus as well. I've heard some of the soundtrack. I've heard that it's phenomenal. I've heard that it has an amazing story, and it also has great artwork by the legendary Akira Toriyama, RIP. So this is definitely number one on my list because I probably can get through this one pretty quickly, and I've heard that it's one of the best of all time. So I definitely need to play Chrono Trigger. The second game on this list I could have easily put at number one, because I have heard that Xenoblade Chronicles is one of the greatest JRPGs of all time, with an amazing story, amazing gameplay, a vast, beautiful open world, heartfelt, compelling characters that you will get attached to. And I have tried a little bit of this game on my cousin's Nintendo Switch, actually, just to get kind of a feel for the gameplay, and I did like how the combat felt. And I just hear so much praise about the Xenoblade Chronicles series on the Nintendo Switch that I just definitely want to be a part of that conversation and finally see what all the hype is about. I think I've kind of procrastinated and put off playing this game and this series. I do own all of the games that are available physically for the Nintendo Switch. Of course, the Future Redeemed DLC isn't, but I've kind of put off playing this series just because I've been a bit intimidated by the size and scope, because I have played some other long JRPGs like SMT5 Original, Vengeance, and Three Houses, and those games took like hundreds of hours to beat combined. So that is a big task to take on, but I'm definitely looking forward to playing Xenoblade Chronicles, especially with the announcement of Xenoblade Chronicles X coming out now. I would like to play this one and then get into that one, as that one is kind of a spiritual successor, but not quite a sequel. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance has become one of my favorite JRPGs and just one of my favorite video games of all time. The game was truly phenomenal. It had a pretty good story, some really good characters, absolutely phenomenal gameplay, a vast, cool open world, a absolutely phenomenal soundtrack, and it definitely gave me my money's worth because it took a really long time to beat. I spent 90 hours playing it, and I could have took even more time, but I kind of just wanted to get through my first playthrough so that I can play more games in my backlog and have more to talk about here on the channel. But after playing that game, I found these two games at GameStop, Shin Megami Tensei 4 and Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse. Now, I need to get the artwork and case for this. I only paid like $9 for this one because I traded a couple games in that I didn't want. But Shin Megami Tensei 4, I've heard, is a really good turn-based RPG. These games are monster collecting RPGs, but instead of like cute little Pokemon in these games, you battle it out with like mythical gods, angels, demons, mythical figures based on the Bible, Jewish mysticism, Hinduism, Greek mythology, Buddhism, all kind of stuff. So you're kind of, clashing to see who's going to sit on the throne and recreate the world, basically control the universe. But these games are just so much fun based on the one that I played on Switch or the couple that I played on Switch. So I definitely want to play the 3DS SMT games. I've heard that 4 has the stronger story, but Apocalypse has the stronger gameplay. And I just really like how the main protagonist of Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse looks. So I'm kind of more excited to get into that one, but I do want to play them in order since you get the full context of the story by playing both of them. But anyway, that's number 3 and 4 on my top 15 backlog JRPG list. Now, the number 5 game on this list I have heard is one of the best action JRPGs of all time. I've heard so many people praise this game, and this game is Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana. The art style in this game looks really cool. You're like on an island by the beach most of the time, it looks like. I've heard that the gameplay is phenomenal. I haven't played any Ys games yet besides Ys Origin. That one has more like a top-down isometric view, but I did really like the hack and slash RPG action gameplay, so I'm definitely looking forward to playing this one as well. I've heard that it has an amazing soundtrack, a really good story, and it's one that I definitely need to play because I just hear everybody praising this game over the years. So that is number 5 on this list. Number 6 on my top 15 backlog JRPGs that I need to play is Atelier Risa. Now, when I first bought this game pre-owned at GameStop, I started it up on my Nintendo Switch OLED, and wow, it just looks phenomenal. The colors and art style just look so vibrant, so beautiful. Atelier Risa is such a beautiful character model, and I have heard that these JRPGs in this series is really good. I've heard that they're good turn-based RPGs, and honestly, I own the whole freaking trilogy in my backlog, and they keep releasing new Atelier games, so I finally need to try this out and make sure that it's a game that I actually will enjoy. If it's anything like Blue Reflection Second Light, made by the same development team, I think I will like this series. Coming in at number 7 on this list, we have Star Ocean, the Second Story R. This game just looks really cool. The kind of HD 2D visuals where you have the characters in 2D and the backgrounds in 3D. At first I thought it looked kind of weird, but then I was like, this actually looks really gorgeous and kind of breathtaking. And this is a Square Enix JRPG. I've liked a lot of games by them that I've played before, and I've heard a lot of good things about this game as well. The combat seems simple, but yet a lot of fun. I've heard it has a really solid story, and it's one that I'm definitely looking forward to getting to out of my backlog JRPGs. I have really become a fan of the Fire Emblem series during the Nintendo Switch era. I really absolutely adore Fire Emblem Three Houses. I consider it one of my favorite video games of all time, and I really also liked my time with Fire Emblem Engage. So I definitely need to finally play the 3DS Fire Emblem games that I have in my backlog. So the next game on my list is Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. Now I hear that this is a remake of one of the earlier Fire Emblem games, so I hear it plays a little bit different than a lot of the other ones. But I had actually bought this game a while back, pre-owned from a retro store, and it started up and played some of the first cutscene, and then the cartridge just didn't work anymore, so I was really excited. I loved the way the anime cutscene looked, and then I bought this one, and it's just been sitting in my backlog sealed. But these are strategy RPGs, if you don't know what Fire Emblem is, where you kind of move on a grid. It's kind of like, people call it like anime chess, but the stories in these games are usually at least pretty solid. They have cool characters. I love the art style, the gameplay, so I definitely need to play this one in my backlog soon, and I definitely actually need to start playing my 3DS consoles more because I've been really about that Nintendo Switch life lately. Coming in at number 9 on this list is Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Now, I had heard that the GameCube version of this game was the greatest Paper Mario game in the entire series and one of the greatest JRPGs of all time. And I hear that the Nintendo Switch version improves on that formula even more with some quality of life improvements, like, of course, better graphics that look absolutely phenomenal. I'm sure I'm gonna love the way it looks on my Nintendo Switch OLED. I heard that the gameplay is great, and I definitely really need to play this one. I know my cousin played it and beat it, and he kept asking me, when am I gonna play it? And I think I was playing SMT5 Vengeance like forever, kind of dragging on that playthrough. But I definitely need to get to this one in my backlog because this game is definitely beloved and praised for a reason, and I need to find out why. After becoming a big fan of the Fire Emblem series, I definitely want to play more strategy RPGs, and I have heard nothing but praise for Triangle Strategy. I hear that this has a phenomenal story. Of course, it has the phenomenal HD 2D style by Team Asano and Square Enix. And I've heard that the gameplay is absolutely top tier. So this is a JRPG that I definitely need to experience for myself on the Nintendo Switch. I really think that I will like it. The only thing that has probably kept me back from rushing into play it is that I hear that it is really dialogue heavy, which I don't mind if the story is good because Fire Emblem Three Houses is really dialogue heavy, and that's one of my favorite games of all time. But I just have to be in the mood for that type of game. But this definitely earns a spot on my top 15 backlog JRPG list because of what I've heard about it. Now, I know I've been talking quite a bit about being a fan of the Fire Emblem series in this video, so of course it's only right that I would have Fire Emblem Awakening on this list. I have heard that this is the game that saved the series because if it didn't sell enough, Nintendo wasn't gonna have them make any more of these games. And I've also just heard that this is a phenomenal Fire Emblem entry and also a phenomenal tactical strategy RPG. I definitely need to experience it for myself, and I'm definitely looking forward to doing that soon. Now, I know I'm presenting these games in a certain order, but this is just to give myself a good guide on the games I want to prioritize. I could just change the order, based on how I feel, what I really want to play, because I'm kind of the type of gamer that just has to play whatever I'm in the mood for. So this one could actually be bumped off this list in my own personal time when I'm looking for a new JRPG to play. Now, the next game on my list I have heard is kind of an underrated Nintendo Switch game, and that game is Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. So, a little bit about my history with the Dragon Ball series is that as a kid, I would actually watch the original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z on Toonami, but I don't think I ever watched every single episode and got the full story. And I know this is Dragon Ball Z, but I feel like playing through this game would be a good way to kind of catch up on the story and get the entirety of it. And it just looks like a fun action RPG to play. I love the art style. I really do like the Dragon Ball Z series. So this is one that I definitely do want to play and one that could move up on my list as well. If I'm just in the mood for a good action game one day, I could see myself taking the seal off this one, putting that cartridge right in my Nintendo Switch to have a good time playing this. So Super Mario RPG and Mario and Luigi Dream Team are both two turn-based RPGs in the Mario RPG series that I really enjoyed. So I definitely want to play Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. This is the 3DS remake. It originally came out for the GBA, Game Boy Advance, but these games are turn-based RPGs where you kind of have to hit the button at the right time to do extra damage and dodge attacks. So it's a really interactive turn-based battle system. These games are a lot of fun, and I hear this one has a lot of good humor to it. And I believe that the 3DS art style probably looks better, so I'm really definitely looking forward to diving into this game and my backlog JRPG list. Dragon's Crown and Muramasa the Demon Blade are two absolutely stunning visual games and action RPGs that I absolutely enjoyed from Vanillaware. and I hear that their newest strategy JRPG for the Nintendo Switch, Unicorn Overlord, is an amazing game. I know the art style is breathtaking, and I really want to get more into strategy RPGs. So I went and bought this one like right away when it came out. It's been in my backlog, and it's one that I definitely need to play ASAP. I hear a lot of praise for this game, and that's why I definitely have it on this list. The final game on my top 15 backlog JRPG list is Dragon Quest 11. I'm not going to say the full title of the name because it's too long, dang it. But I have heard that this is a phenomenal JRPG, one of the best on the Nintendo Switch. I've heard it has that classic turn-based battle system, but it has a big open world. You can even switch between 2D and 3D, which I think is really cool. The graphics look great for the Switch. It's one that I really need to play. Probably one that I've just been a bit intimidated by because of the length of the game. I hear that it is a really long game, but that's actually a good thing if the game is good, the gameplay is good, the story's good. It's one I definitely need to play. So that's it for this list of my top 15 backlog JRPGs. I really appreciate you watching this video, and I'd like to know, what games do you recommend? What JRPGs do you recommend I should play for the Nintendo Switch, 3DS, or DS? Because I definitely like to play my JRPGs on the handhelds because they're just more accessible and easy to get through those long kind of games on. But thank you so much for watching again, and until the next video, I'll catch you later.